Ever wonder why some people seem to have everything fall into place while you're still waiting for your big break? The truth is staring you right in the face. You don't need anyone else's permission to succeed. Not your parents, not your boss, not your friends. When you finally grasp this truth, something magical happens. The universe starts working with you instead of against you. Doors that seemed locked suddenly open. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. It's not coincidence, it's alignment. Most people spend their lives seeking validation from others, never realizing that the power was inside them all along. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mentor, the perfect sign to start. But that moment never comes. This video will show you how to break free from external validation. You'll discover how to recognize when you're in alignment with your true self. You'll learn the exact steps to take when facing resistance. And you'll understand why every obstacle you faced was actually preparing you for what's coming next. The most successful people throughout history all share one common trait. They trusted themselves when everyone else doubted them. It's time for you to join their ranks. Your journey to alignment starts now. From day one, we're taught to seek approval. Parents praise good behavior. Teachers reward correct answers. Bosses acknowledge hard work with promotions. This creates a dangerous pattern, linking our worth to outside validation. Society reinforces this illusion at every turn. Social media platforms are designed to make us crave likes and comments. Achievement is measured through comparisons to others. Success becomes defined by external metrics rather than internal fulfillment. Each time someone compliments our choices, our brain releases dopamine, creating an addiction to approval that's hard to break. This dependency becomes invisible chains. Waiting for permission to pursue dreams delays action. Seeking constant reassurance wastes precious energy. Changing directions based on criticism removes authentic purpose. People who live for others' approval never discover their true capabilities because they're too busy meeting expectations that weren't meant for them. Decision paralysis strikes when external validation drives choices. Hours spent wondering what others might think. Projects abandoned because someone expressed doubt. Relationships maintained out of fear of disapproval rather than genuine connection. Life becomes a performance for an audience instead of an authentic expression. Breaking this pattern feels terrifying at first. Saying no to requests without explaining why, creating without asking for feedback, taking paths that others question. Each act of self-trust builds a muscle that's been weakened by years of dependency. Freedom arrives quietly. It shows up as peace when making decisions without consulting 5 different people. It appears as confidence when pursuing goals regardless of trends. It manifests as clarity when distinguishing between genuine desires and conditioned responses. Suddenly, time expands. Hours previously spent seeking validation become available for creation and growth. Mental space clears when constant worry about others' opinions disappears. Energy previously drained by people-pleasing transforms into fuel for meaningful pursuits. Relationships transform once external validation loses its grip. Connections become choices rather than necessities. Boundaries establish naturally. Interactions flow from authenticity rather than strategy. People who value your true self remain. Those who valued your compliance fade away. Self-alignment exists when thoughts, actions, and deeper purpose work in harmony. It's that rare state where decisions feel effortless. No second guessing or regret follows your choices. Instead, a quiet certainty guides each step, even when logic might suggest otherwise. This alignment happens naturally when external noise fades and internal wisdom speaks. Internal clarity acts as your personal compass. Unlike borrowed opinions that shift with trends, this clarity comes from knowing what matters to you. Values become non-negotiable. Priorities arrange themselves without struggle. Time allocation reflects what truly matters rather than what seems urgent to others. Distractions lose their power when measured against this inner standard. Physical sensations often signal alignment. Energy flows without effort toward aligned activities. Tasks that previously exhausted you now energize instead. Sleep improves as internal conflict dissolves. Tension held in shoulders and jaw relaxes when actions match intentions. Body and mind work together rather than fighting each other. Decision-making transforms when alignment grows. Questions that once paralyzed now resolve quickly. Opportunities get measured against internal truth rather than potential praise. Saying no becomes simple when requests don't align with personal direction. Yes comes with complete commitment rather than hesitation or obligation. Creative output changes dramatically. Work reflects authentic voice instead of mimicking others. Ideas flow without forcing. Unique perspectives emerge naturally. Feedback affects, but doesn't derail progress. Creation serves expression rather than validation. Relationships shift toward mutual respect. People who recognize your authentic self gravitate closer. Interactions feel energizing rather than draining. Boundaries establish themselves without guilt. Conversations deepen beyond surface pleasantries. Connection happens through genuineness rather than performance. Reactions to challenges reveal growing alignment. Setbacks cause temporary disappointment rather than identity crisis. Criticism prompts evaluation but not abandonment of direction. Failed attempts become data points rather than character judgments. Resilience builds from self-trust rather than external reassurance. Small synchronicities appear with increasing frequency. Needed resources arrive at perfect moments. Conversations provide exact information required for next steps. Obstacles dissolve unexpectedly. These aren't magical occurrences, but natural results of moving with clarity and purpose. When internal alignment guides action, external reality seems to cooperate. When confidence drives decisions, reality seems to bend in surprising ways. Opportunities appear at perfect moments. People with exact resources cross paths unexpectedly. Obstacles dissolve without direct intervention. This isn't mystical thinking, but practical cause and effect. Confident decisions create immediate changes in behavior, better posture, clearer speech, direct eye contact. Others perceive these subtle shifts and respond differently than they would to hesitation or uncertainty. Psychology explains what feels like universal cooperation. Reticular activating system functions as a filter in our brains, highlighting information relevant to current focus while filtering out everything else. After making confident decisions, attention naturally tunes to supporting evidence and opportunities. What once went unnoticed now stands out clearly. Nothing changed except awareness and receptivity. Neurochemistry plays a crucial role in this process. Decisive action triggers dopamine release, creating positive feedback loops that encourage continued commitment. Cortisol levels decrease when decisions align with internal values, reducing stress responses that normally cloud judgment. This optimal brain state improves pattern recognition, problem solving, and social connection, all factors that increase success probability. Confident decisions change physical actions in subtle but significant ways. Speech becomes more direct. Movement becomes more purposeful. Time management improves as clarity eliminates wasted effort. These behavioral shifts create ripple effects as others respond more positively, opening doors that hesitation would leave closed. What appears coincidental often results from putting oneself in opportunity-rich environments. Making decisions confidently leads to consistently showing up where opportunities exist. Consistency builds relationships with key people. Relationships create referrals and recommendations. Soon, lucky breaks happen with increasing frequency, not through mystical attraction, but through practical positioning. Confirmation bias explains part of this phenomenon. Minds naturally notice evidence supporting existing beliefs while overlooking contradictory information. After committing to a direction, attention gravitates toward supporting signs and away from discouraging ones. This selective attention creates a sense that everything supports the chosen path. True alignment differs from random coincidence through pattern and progression. Coincidences happen in isolation without building momentum. Alignment creates consistent forward movement where each step naturally leads to the next. Energy increases rather than depletes. Resistance decreases over time rather than intensifying. Progress accelerates as internal clarity and external reality synchronize into flowing action. People-pleasing drains life energy faster than almost any other habit. Every yes given against inner wisdom creates internal conflict. This conflict manifests as physical symptoms, headaches, digestive issues, sleep disturbances, and chronic fatigue. Mental bandwidth decreases as thoughts constantly revolve around managing others' perceptions. Emotional resources deplete through continuous suppression of authentic reactions. Financial costs accumulate through unnecessary purchases, undercharging for services, and overgiving without reciprocation. Resentment signals compromise in progress. When bitter thoughts follow acts of kindness, they reveal actions taken from obligation rather than genuine desire. Body language betrays this misalignment. Tight shoulders, forced smiles, and nervous laughter appear when words say yes but internal wisdom says no. Time spent ruminating over past conversations indicates sacrificed authenticity. Exhaustion after social interactions suggests performed behavior rather than natural expression. Decision delay reveals fear of disapproval. When simple choices require extensive consultation with others, dependency has developed. When opportunities pass because commitment feels impossible without external validation, autonomy has been surrendered. When excitement transforms into anxiety after sharing plans with certain people, their opinions have gained excessive power over personal direction. Reclaiming power begins with small experiments. Delaying responses creates space for internal clarity before external pressure can override it. "I'll think about it and get back to you" becomes a powerful phrase for breaking automatic agreement patterns. Starting with low-risk situations builds confidence for more significant boundaries later. Practicing direct communication strengthens authentic expression. Simple statements replace elaborate explanations. "That doesn't work for me" becomes sufficient without justification. "I have different priorities right now" establishes boundaries without inviting debate. Each direct statement builds tolerance for potential disapproval. Strategic exposure to mild disapproval builds resilience. Small disagreements provide practice for managing discomfort without capitulating. Noticing survival after someone expresses disappointment weakens the fear driving people-pleasing behavior. Each experience of maintaining boundaries despite pressure strengthens self-trust. Physical practices support mental shifts. Deep breathing activates parasympathetic nervous system, reducing reactivity when setting boundaries. Grounding techniques maintain presence during difficult conversations. Posture adjustments, standing straight, maintaining eye contact, speaking at comfortable volume, reinforce internal authority when external pressure mounts. Borrowed blueprints fail because they contain hidden variables. What worked for someone else incorporated their unique talents, circumstances, connections, and timing. Even detailed step-by-step systems omit crucial internal factors, intuitive decisions, relationship dynamics, and personal adaptations that actually created success. Following another's path exactly creates misalignment between actions and authentic capabilities. This mismatch generates friction, frustration, and eventually abandonment when results don't materialize as promised. Cookie-cutter approaches ignore individual starting points. Different backgrounds, resources, strengths, and constraints require personalized strategies. One person's opportunity might become another's dead end due to these invisible differences. Success comes from leveraging specific advantages rather than forcing generic methods that worked elsewhere. Copying others creates secondary problems beyond ineffectiveness. Motivation wanes when pursuing goals designed for different personalities. Energy depletes faster when working against natural inclinations. Comparison becomes inevitable, leading to discouragement when progress doesn't match expectations set by others' highlight reels. Discovering unique direction starts with honest inventory. What activities create flow states where time disappears? Which topics trigger curiosity that persists beyond initial exposure? What problems generate spontaneous solution ideas? These signals reveal authentic interests beneath social conditioning. Following this thread leads toward genuine direction. Past patterns contain valuable data about personal alignment. Previous successes share common elements worth identifying. Failures often reveal misalignment with natural strengths or values. Both provide clues about optimal direction if examined without judgment. Daily experiments yield more reliable guidance than long-term planning. Small actions taken consistently reveal what works through direct experience rather than speculation. Each attempt provides immediate feedback about alignment. Over time, these micro-adjustments create a path perfectly tailored to individual circumstances. Forging an original path yields unexpected rewards beyond potential success. Self-knowledge deepens through continuous discovery. Resilience builds through solving unique challenges without prescribed solutions. Confidence grows from trusting internal guidance despite external skepticism. Competition disappears when following authentic direction. Standard paths create crowded fields where small advantages determine outcomes. Original paths exist in uncontested space where natural abilities become significant advantages. Value increases naturally when offering something that cannot be readily duplicated by others. Innovation emerges organically when combining uncommon elements. New perspectives generate fresh solutions to persistent problems. Unique approaches attract attention in saturated markets. What begins as personal necessity often evolves into breakthrough methodology with widespread application. Decisiveness cuts through confusion like nothing else. When someone clearly decides what they want, all subsequent choices become simpler. Each option gets measured against a single standard. Does this move me toward my chosen direction or away from it? This clarity eliminates the exhausting back and forth that consumes most people's mental energy. Resources previously spent on deliberation become available for implementation. Momentum builds naturally as each aligned choice reinforces the initial decision. Clear results follow clear decisions through direct cause and effect. Fuzzy commitments create scattered efforts. Half-hearted attempts generate partial outcomes. Tentative investments yield limited returns. In contrast, complete commitment concentrates energy towards specific targets. Focus eliminates distractions that would otherwise dilute impact. Time gets allocated efficiently rather than spread across competing priorities. Decisive action communicates certainty beyond conscious awareness. Body language shifts, voice tone changes, eye contact strengthens. These subtle alterations affect how others respond. Opportunities appear because decision makers recognize fellow commitment. Supporters emerge, sensing genuine conviction. Resources materialize when others feel confidence in potential outcomes. Permission seeking creates unnecessary delays. External approval adds nothing to internal clarity. Waiting for validation risks missing optimal timing. Seeking consensus dilutes original vision. While feedback provides valuable perspective, permission differs fundamentally from input. One enhances direction, the other surrenders it completely. Authority already exists within each person to direct their own life. No external source can grant what already belongs to everyone by default. Recognizing this inherent authority eliminates the perceived need for permission. Action becomes the natural expression of existing autonomy rather than something requiring external sanction. Small, consistent actions speak louder than grand pronouncements. Daily habits reveal true priorities beyond stated intentions. Regular practice demonstrates commitment regardless of convenience. Showing up when motivation wanes proves genuine decision rather than temporary enthusiasm. Morning routines signal serious intent before the day begins. Dedicated space physically represents commitment to chosen direction. Financial investments, however small, convert abstract interest to concrete stake. Time consistently allocated towards specific goals demonstrates clear prioritization beyond wishful thinking. Incremental progress compounds over time. Tiny improvements accumulate into significant advancement. Small steps maintain sustainable momentum rather than exhausting initial energy in unsustainable bursts. Consistent action builds neural pathways that make aligned behavior increasingly automatic. What begins as conscious choice becomes natural expression. Alignment creates unmistakable internal signals. Energy flows naturally toward aligned activities without requiring excessive motivation. Tasks that once felt draining suddenly energize instead. Focus comes effortlessly as distractions lose their pull. Time perception shifts, hours pass unnoticed during aligned action, while minutes drag during misaligned obligations. Sleep improves as internal conflict resolves. Physical tension held in shoulders, jaw, and stomach releases gradually. Appetite normalizes as emotional eating decreases. Overall well-being increases, even when external circumstances remain unchanged. Emotional shifts provide reliable feedback about alignment. Calm confidence replaces anxious urgency. Peaceful certainty supersedes desperate need for reassurance. Curiosity drives exploration rather than fear, pushing for perfection. Enthusiasm persists beyond initial excitement into sustained interest. Resilience develops naturally as setbacks feel informative rather than devastating. External synchronicities appear with increasing frequency. Needed resources arrive without excessive struggle. Relevant information crosses your path at perfect moments. Helpful connections form unexpectedly. Obstacles dissolve without direct intervention. Timing works in your favor more often than not. Opportunities emerge that perfectly match developed capabilities. Conversations shift in surprising ways. People spontaneously mention topics relevant to current focus. Advice arrives from unexpected sources exactly when needed. Compliments highlight strengths previously taken for granted. Questions stimulate valuable insights precisely when such clarity becomes necessary. These aren't coincidences, but natural consequences of increased receptivity and clearer signaling. Progress accelerates beyond previous patterns. Learning curves steepen as information connects more meaningfully. Skills develop faster through increased engagement. Feedback becomes immediately applicable rather than confusing. Results improve with less effort than before. Forward momentum continues despite occasional setbacks. Fear and intuition speak different languages within the body. Fear creates constriction, tight chest, shallow breathing, racing heart, churning stomach. Intuition manifests as calm knowing, open chest, deep breathing, steady heartbeat, quiet stomach. Fear generates spiraling thoughts that intensify with attention. Intuition presents clear direction that remains consistent regardless of analysis. Fear disappears when faced directly, while intuition strengthens upon examination. Fear-based decisions lead to temporary relief, followed by deeper anxiety. Intuition-guided choices may create momentary discomfort, but lead to lasting peace. Fear drives impulsive action or paralysis. Intuition promotes measured response without artificial urgency. Fear speaks in absolutes and catastrophes. Intuition communicates through quiet certainty and practical next steps. Fear projects imagine future outcomes based on past wounds. Intuition addresses present reality with unusual clarity. Learning to distinguish these voices transforms decision-making completely. Obstacles serve as natural filters, separating casual interest from genuine commitment. Any worthwhile path includes these built-in challenges specifically designed to strengthen necessary qualities for success. Resistance appears precisely when expansion begins. Difficulties emerge exactly when skills need refinement. Opposition intensifies directly proportional to potential impact. These patterns exist universally across all growth journeys, from physical training to relationship development to career advancement to spiritual practice. Growth requires friction by fundamental law. Muscles develop through resistance. Immune systems strengthen through exposure. Mental capabilities expand through challenge. Emotional resilience builds through processing difficulty. Without these opposing forces, development stagnates regardless of intention or potential. Obstacles aren't signs of wrong paths, but confirmation of significant ones. Misinterpreting challenges creates unnecessary detours. Seeing difficulty as universal rather than personal prevents excessive self-doubt. Recognizing resistance as normal rather than ominous maintains momentum through challenging phases. Understanding temporary setbacks as part of progression rather than evidence of failure preserves commitment during inevitable plateaus. Staying centered begins with physical grounding. Deep breathing activates parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress response during challenges. Regular movement releases tension that accumulates during difficult periods. Adequate rest prevents exhaustion from clouding judgment when obstacles appear. Proper nutrition supports brain function needed for creative problem solving. Mental practices maintain internal stability despite external turbulence. Morning focus rituals establish priority before daily chaos intervenes. Media boundaries prevent unnecessary negativity from compounding existing challenges. Selective exposure to supportive voices counterbalances inevitable criticism. Regular reflection separates objective reality from catastrophic interpretation. Perspective shifts transform obstacles from barriers to teachers. Asking what this challenge reveals about necessary growth identifies specific development areas. Examining what skills this difficulty demands highlights precise capabilities needing attention. Considering what this obstacle prevents precipitous action toward clarifies potential pitfalls being protected from. Setbacks provide valuable feedback unavailable through success. Failed approaches eliminate ineffective paths, narrowing focus toward working solutions. Rejection highlights presentation aspects, needing refinement. Criticism identifies blind spots invisible through supportive feedback alone. Each failure actually accelerates progress by preventing extended investment in unproductive directions. Growth measurements shift during challenging periods. Progress continues through developing resilience rather than external achievement. Success redefines as maintaining alignment despite pressure to abandon it. Achievement becomes learning extracted from difficulty rather than avoidance of it. Development continues invisibly during apparent standstills, emerging later as unexpected capability. Every journey toward self-alignment follows a unique path, yet they all lead to the same liberating truth. You already possess everything needed to create the life you desire. External validation, borrowed blueprints, and constant permission seeking only distract from this fundamental power that's been yours from the beginning. As you release dependency on others' approval, clarity emerges naturally. Decisions become simpler. Actions align with authentic purpose. The universe responds to this alignment not through magic, but through the practical reality that confidence creates opportunity, attention reveals resources, and persistence overcomes obstacles. Challenges will appear not as warnings, but as invitations to develop exactly what's needed for your next level of growth. Each setback refines rather than defines you. Each obstacle strengthens rather than stops you. The path becomes clearer with each step taken in trust rather than fear. This journey of self-alignment never truly ends. It deepens, it expands, it reveals new dimensions of possibility previously invisible. The person who began watching this video already holds the seeds of transformation that only self-trust can water. If this message resonated with you, hit that like button now. Subscribe to our channel for more content that empowers your journey. Your alignment matters more than you know, not just for yourself, but for everyone waiting for the gifts only you can bring.